Hello and welcome to this video. We're going to have a look at installing Server 2008 in a virtual environment. Now there are a couple of assumptions I have to make. Assumption number one, as you can see, I have the Oracle VM VirtualBox already installed and open on my machine. Assumption number two is that in your CD drive you have previously downloaded the Windows 2008 Server ISO, burn it to a DVD, and it's currently in the DVD drive ready to be installed. If you haven't done either of those two things, stop, do so, download VirtualBox and install it, pop off to the Microsoft Windows site, Server 2008, and download the ISO for that, burn it to a DVD and place it into your drive. Okay, with those two assumptions out of the way, we're going to move forward. Now the first step is to come up here and choose Next, okay, and we're going to choose the virtual machine. We'll type in Server 2008 and Microsoft Windows, and as you can see there's a whole range of different types here, and we scroll down a little bit, we will see Windows 2008. Now I'm going to choose the 64-bit because I have the 64-bit machine. Okay, click on Next. The memory size. Now I normally allocate around about 2 gig of memory for this, so 2048 megabytes. Okay, that allows sufficient size. As you can see, the green I can allocate all the way up to here. Right, hard drive. Virtual hard drive. We're going to create a virtual hard drive now. The recommended size is 25 gig, and that should be sufficient for our needs. Okay, and we're just going to leave this as a virtual disk image. Clicking on Next. Storage on the drive is going to be dynamically allocated. This will come in very handy because we may be playing around with the drives a little bit later. Okay, as you can see, this is just a summary. It's saying Server 2008 and 25 gig and on our hard disk drive, and it's now going to be created, and as you can see here it is. I've got all the details here: general, system information, display information, storage, audio, network, etc. Now once all this is here, we're going to click on our Start. What it's going to do here, it's going to give you a very important little box. To log on to Server 2008 a little bit later on, you're going to have to hit Control-Alt-Delete. Now if you do so, your primary machine function, operating system, will actually take over and you'll get your Control-Alt-Delete screen that you don't want to see. You actually want to get your log-on screen. What this is saying is, if you use the right Control key and your Delete key, you'll be able to simulate in the virtual environment the Control-Alt-Delete. Okay, so use your right Control key and hit Delete at the same time, and that will simulate hitting Control-Alt-Delete. Okay, please select topical A. Okay, so I'm saying this is looking for my host drive, which is W, which is where my CD/DVD ROM is located. Yours, it may be a slightly different allocation. If you have any doubts, click on the Explorer button. Okay, and as you can see, there's my DVD drive there. Okay, it's just testing it. There's the files. Open. Okay, I'll click on Cancel because it will do so, and click on Start. Now, this is now something that just popped up this nice little window down over here. Okay, which is our little preview. Okay. And if I just minimize this for the moment, you'll see that loading behind it is the Oracle virtual machine. It's loading up its files. Now this can be a fairly long process depending on your machine, and I'm just going to maximize this so we can actually have a look at it. And it's literally going through, and once again it'll give you some various little pop-ups about your mouse pointer being integrated into the desktop, etc. as it goes along, okay, you have your normal store language, English, time and currency. Once again, I'm going to change this. No, not to that, but to the next one up, English Australian. Keyboard layout will be US. Next, and what to know, repair, all those fun things are there. If we want to play around with repairing your computer later, you can do so. But let's do the install. Now, you're going to be prompted about a license key in a short period of time. Okay. What I normally do is take the tick out, let it go, next. You'll get a, do you want to enter the product key now? No option. It will still continue with the install. Obviously, if you have a fully licensed version of server, enter your product key and away you will go. Now, we're going to choose the Server 2008 Enterprise Full Installation. Okay. I have selected the version of Windows I have purchased, even though this is a trial version. You need to tick that box for it to enter. Okay, accepting the license agreement. Okay, and this is slightly different. In previous ones, you actually had to scroll all the way down with Microsoft before that would become available. They've just done away with that. And you can click on next. Okay, as we're not going to upgrade, then what we can do is the custom. Okay, so click on custom. It will then show your virtual hard drive with the 25 gig of space. And here comes the part of the screen that will take the longest in this install. It'll literally go through copying the files over, installing them. Now, this will take a couple of minutes, so feel free to pop away, do other things that you may need to do, and then come back as required. good. So we're stayed with the 50% part of expanding the files, and this is actually the longest part of the install process normally, where it just takes the files off the CD and expands them into relevant directories that it's creating on your virtual hard drive. You can speed the process up if you copy the files from your CD/DVD and place them into a local folder and then install from there. It does significantly increase this part of the actual install. On the other hand, if you're doing an install over a network, once again your network speed it will be the determining factor in how fast these files are transferred across and expanded. Microsoft is a little bit erroneous, and the first part they say is copying files. They're just copying the initial installed files. They actually don't copy the bulk of the files until this part in the expanding files section. So it can draw upon network resources if you're doing a rollout across the network. And this applies for all versions of servers and most operating systems. Once this part's done, it will then go through and look at installing some very basic features in the server environment. as mentioned before, the install of the files I'm looking across is actually the longest part. Now Windows will restart to continue. Depending on your virtual machine, this may actually happen a couple of times. Don't worry if it does. It's just different machines will do things slightly differently. Also, don't worry if you get any little messages that will pop up from the virtual machine. Just click on close and continue on. And here we're entering one of the final parts of the actual install process itself. Once again, as I said, it may pop straight through into your screen, or that actually may go through another restart. I've had both scenarios doing installs of servers. Okay, so as a default, you actually have to change password when you log into server the first time. Okay. Now, when you're given the password screen here, if you type in something very, very simple, and I'll just type in my name and then click on create. Unable to update. The value provided does not meet the length, complexity or history requirements of the domain. So in other words, you pop in something very simple, it's going to. Same as if I try and pop in a blank password. Nope, won't let you do that either as well. Okay, so you do need to place a password in that has a mixture of alphanumeric characters and symbols and is a fairly decent length. Okay. Once that's been done and been successfully accepted, okay, it will now pop you through into your server 2008 environment. And here we are. Welcome, congratulations, you have successfully installed Server 2008. Okay, down here you have Server Manager and you have your Start screen and Control Panel and Admin Tools. Well done. Okay, here's Server Manager. Now, one of the things that I did mention before is that if you do log in and you have to use the Control-Alt-Delete to unlock this. Now, if you press Control-Alt-Delete as per normal on your system, you'll get this screen, which is your normal screen. As you can see, I'm running Windows 7 Professional. If I want to unlock here, I'm going to hold down the right Control key, which I'm doing now, and hit the delete button. So right Control and delete. That will get me back to my log on screen. Enter the password that I have for the server, and I'm back in. And as you can see, Server Manager .port has popped up. Congratulations, well done. You have successfully installed Server 2008. And as you can see, it's now going through the process of checking out my Microsoft Management Console and adding in various snap-ins, etc. Okay, totally normal for this to happen. It needs to load the various snap-ins for you to control that environment.